Greetings, Iain from RTO here. Welcome to a very special retro ranking this week, because this month is the 60th anniversary since Dr. No hit our screens, and there was one man that's been part of the Bond family, and that is John Barry. He composed the scores for 11 James Bond films between 1963 and 1987. But he is also known for arranging and performing the James Bond theme. Now, Monty Norman took it from an old Indian song about a man that got sneezes, and he was having a few issues. He couldn't get it right, so I don't know how it came about. I think it was either Cubby or Saltzman said, well, I know someone that might be able to give you a hand, John Barry. So John Barry came in and basically gave us that theme that we know and love today. I mean, brilliant stuff. So John Barry was born John Barry Pendergast, OBE, born on the 3rd of November 1933 and died on the 30th of January 2011. Apart from his Bond work, I mean, he done scores for Dances of Wolves, Out of Africa, Chaplin, The Cotton Club, Mary Queen of Scots. He wrote the theme through to the TV series The Persuaders. So he's always been a thing, and people have in the Bond have done the music. They've always said that John Barry is the man. That's who they get their inspiration when they do their bit for the music scores. So today I've picked some of my favourite bits of music from Bond films. In this list there are no main theme tunes. They're all bits within the films. I've got 12 for you. I've tried to pick one from all the films he worked on, plus a few other ones that I like as well. So here we go. So coming in at number 12, we go to 1963 and the film From Russia with Love. And the piece of music I've chosen from the Russia with Love is the bit called Stalking. Now this is right at the beginning of the film. You get the barrel and the blood and all the thing, and then you go to this scene where you've got, looks like James Bond, and he's being stalked by Robert Shaw's character Grant, and he's slowing down. He grots him, and then you think that James Bond's dead, but the rest of Spectre come in and pull off the mask, and it's someone else. I think this is very good. It's very slow version of actually the Bond theme, but really stripped down, and it's quite eerie, and I really like that. I think it's quite one of the most iconic film entries, because it gives you that shock that James Bond may be dead. It's really good stuff, and it's a good film, of course. So coming in at number 11, we go to 1969 now, and this is from Her Majesty's Secret Service, the only film that George Lazenby did, and the track I've chosen is called This Never Happened to the Other Guy. Again, this is the pre-title bit they do. New James Bond, so they've changed the theme a little bit, and that's the start of it, because you don't see him start. You get him in the shadow driving the car, and you got this little keyboard bit that they've added to the main Bond theme, and then the tempo changes because it goes into the piece where he sees Tracy on the beach walking into the sea, and he's off to go and save her. He does his famous "I'm James Bond" and all that sort of thing, and then the goons come along, and then there's that fight scene when he throws them under the boat. I think it's a really good introduction for a new Bond, and I do like that piece of music. I like that new style of the James Bond theme as well. Coming in at number 10 is another pre-credit piece of music. It's from 1974, this one. It's The Man with the Golden Gun, and it's Scaramanga's Funhouse. This is actually one of my favourite post-credit openings to a Bond film. I just like that very gentle, eerie as they're going through the funhouse, or that one that wants to take on Scaramanga. And it's all the mirrors, and then you get the cowboy sort of piano, honky tonk piano version of The Man with the Golden Gun. Really good. Then you get a jazzy one with Al Capone, and apparently there is a picture. There's a Bond appears in that, and that is actually Roger Moore. It's not a model; it's actually Roger Moore doing it. It's really, really good. I like them different sort of themes of The Man from the Golden Gun. That's why it's my number 10. Coming in at number 9. Now we're going into the bit of the film now. We're going to 1971, and we're going to Diamonds Are Forever, and it's the little bit of music they play every time that Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd appear. I think when they appear, you know, especially with that beginning bit with the scorpion, when you hear this, you can feel that scorpion going down his neck. I really like that piece, and what's attached to this is also when Bond gets on the hovercraft to go to Holland. It's a very jazzy sort of version of the Bond theme. Pretty good. Okay then, coming in at number 8, we get a 1983 now on the Octopussy film, and it's the bit called Welcome to Delhi. This is when, of course, James Bond arrives in Delhi, and I love I love this piece. And there's the other bit I like is when he actually gets off the boat and he's looking for the station guy. It was played by the tennis player BK Singh, and how he recognises he's a snake charmer, and all of a sudden they get this snake charmer doing the Bond thing, which I thought was very, very clever. It's a nice bit. I like the music because it's got that Indian feel to it. It's one of Barry Norman's. He really took in the atmosphere and the scene very well on that one. Okay, coming in number 7. We go to 1987 now. The Living Daylights. So we've got a new Bond, and this is the piece called Exercise Gibraltar. The introduction of Timothy Dalton. You've got that really atmospheric bit when he keeps looking around, and then you get that chase on the Jeep, and then you get this 80s version of the Bond theme, and it's John Barry really beefs it up and brings it right into the 80s, that song. I love that version of the Bond theme. Okay then, coming in at number 6, we got a 1965 now, one of my favourite Bond films here. It's Thunderball, and the piece I like from here is The Search for the Vulcan. And if you remember the scene, it's when James Bond and Felix Leiter in the helicopter searching for the Vulcan bomber. It's just the dramatics of this that really, one thing John Barry was good at, he really knew how to make a scene even better, and the music makes this scene, because you know they are searching for this, and it just really is really good. Okay then, coming at number 5, we go to 1985 now, and A View to the Kill, which was of course Roger Moore's last Bond, and it's Snow Job. Now Snow Job is the pre-credit scene when he recovers the microchip from another 00 agent. I can't remember which one it was, and this is the chase down to the little snow-capped submarine with the Russians. Again, action-packed. John Barry really good at these action-packed scores. They did leave out the cheesy Beach Boys bit, which I'm glad about, but it's a great opening sequence, and I do like that a lot. Okay, then, coming in at number 4. Now, this is one of the tunes that appears in not more than one Bond film. First time we heard it, though, was in From Russia With Love, and it's just called 007. One of John Barry's compositions that he appeared in so many films. I said it's an iconic. This one is when he's on the lake from Spectre, but it appears all over the Bond films, even into some of the modern day versions. There's little variations in this, and I think it's a good sort of action. It's always when there's a little bit of action going on with James Bond. I like that track. It's very, very good. Okay, then, coming in at number 3, go to 1967 now, and You Only Live Twice, and it's Capsule in Space. I love this. This is so eerie. If you remember, it's the bit where the Spectre spaceship hijacks the Russian and the American. The music to this is absolutely fantastic. It really builds you into the scene, and John Barry again at his best. Love that piece of music. Okay, then, coming in at number 2, we go to another classic film, Goldfinger from 1964, and it's the piece of music they use for the Dawn Raid over Fort Knox. This is a classic John Barry composition. It's the bit where you get Pussy Galore's Flying Circus coming over there across Port Knox with the gas. John Barry captured this scene really well, especially when all the soldiers start falling down like pins. When they fall, he hits the note. The notes just hit the right place, and it really gives atmosphere. Fantastic piece of music, one of my favourites. So my number 1 and my favourite piece of John Barry music for a Bond film, outside the main titles, is from 1979's Moonraker, and it's the flight into space. When got Dr. Goodhead and James Bond sneak on board the Moonraker, one of the Moonrakers, which is a space shuttle, and it's just that bam bam. It's wonderful. I've got so fond memories of this bit of music. I've been very lucky that I've been to this Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And part of the tour, you saw this space shuttle, and they open these doors, and you see a space shuttle, which was amazing. And the first bit of music that came into my head was this. And I think when I put my little holiday film together, I think that's the music I used, because it just encapsulates everything about a space shuttle. It's dramatic. It's got the bit when the gentleness when they open up the cargo, and it's the people, and then you got there's no gravity and everything's floating around. It's just a perfect piece of music for that. That's still one of my favourite pieces of music from John Barry, full stop. I have got some honourable mentions, because there's so many good bits I like from James Bond. So my first one comes from Only Live Twice, 1967, and it's the fight at Kobe Dock. One of the great scenes from the film, where there's a fight at the dock, and it starts off close up and then it pans out, and you got James Bond running across the dock trying and beating everyone up as he's going along. It's a really great scene, and this piece of music, I think John Barry really encapsulates what was going on. Okay, my next honourable mention is from 1974's The Man from the Golden Gun, and it's Chew Me In Greasy Land. This sort of music pops up all the way through the film. It's that oriental bit, Scaramanter's coming off his junk and little bits like that. It's a really hooky bit of music, sort of encapsulates, can't say the word, but it's all Thailand and all that. It's a really good little piece of music. Really like that one. I've got another one as well. This one's from 1987. It's from the Living Daylights, and it's Necros Attacks. Now, this is an introversial version of a song that John Barry did with Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders, and the song is a jazzy version of Where Has Everybody Gone, which is a great song, but this is like a bit when he attacks the hideaway in the country. It's a really good piece of music. I like that song anyway, but I like this version as well. And one more, and I couldn't leave this one off because it's James Bond. Obviously it's the James Bond theme from Dr. No, the one that John Barry came along and helped Monty Norman, and even in an interview Monty Norman has said when they met, he says, "I'm not proud, I need some help," and which is great. And if he hadn't gone for help, we wouldn't have had this great theme. That guitar riff is brilliant, and it's one of the most iconic theme tunes from any film series. Everyone knows it. It's just great. So I couldn't not mention that. It's the only really sort of main theme, but it's the theme that's been used all the way through, different variations of it, and it is such an iconic piece of music. So there we go. There's my little tribute to the music of James Bond and John Barry, the man who created so many scores for this fantastic franchise. Who knows who comes next? But that's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow. We've got Marathon Wednesday, and it's part 3 of the Rick Wakeman story, where we look at his albums from the 1990s. Quite a lot to go through tomorrow, but lots of repeats and remasters, so it's not like we're going to talk through every track. We'll just brief over some of them. Some really interesting stuff he did during the 90s. So have a great day everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.